37 years after the Dark Crystal's original theatrical run, viewers can return to the world of Thra and all of its fantastical inhabitants. The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance revives the movie as a 10-part prequel series. We spoke with the cast and crew behind the new Netflix release.
I wish I was a kid. I was a teenager when the original one came out. And I really kind of got really invested in the world of Thra and the Gelflings and how the crystal powers the entire universe. So it was something I was relatively familiar with. Yeah, I mean, familiar enough that when they said, "Would you?" I said yes immediately.
I'd definitely seen the original movie and been sufficiently terrified by the Skeksis, but I remember being sort of like blown away by the world and the puppets, and it was very much my kind of thing, but I hadn't seen it in a really long time. Yeah, it sort of took me back straight away. I saw like a breakdown and I saw a picture of one of the characters that I went for, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really exciting, and I was just like determined to be in it.
I had probably seen the film a couple hundred times before I got this role. I got it when it was on VHS. I got it when it was on DVD. I brought my little daughter to see it when it occasionally would come out in movie theaters, and she would pretend that she was Agra because she loved the character so much. She would say, questions, too many questions, you want a shard here, and dump a tray of Legos on the floor. True story. So to wind up as the voice of Agra is an amazing thing, not just to me, but to my whole family.
I remember seeing it. I was 20 when it came out, so we went as students for a laugh. We thought we were going to go and see, a Muppet movie or something, and then we were shocked in our seats. And I remember even at 20, when I was a law student, I wasn't in the entertainment business, admiring Jim Henson for using his currency, having built up such love and affection in the world, to get people in the cinemas to tell a much darker, much more profound, much more complex story.
I think the film just didn't date very much, because there are no humans in it. It's not on Earth. There's nothing in the film that tells you what year it was made, and so it's kind of weathered time very well. It's like it's a really timeless sort of film.
It's one of those ultimate battles between good and evil, and I think the thing that impressed me most as a young person was that the balance between good and evil, and how these two forces really need each other to exist. That one of the Skeksis would die, and its corresponding mystic would die, and I just found that so interesting and fascinating. That balance and that coexistence, that you have to have both.
It'll resonate because, like all the best fantasy stories, it's a huge mythological world. They built the entire universe, but it's actually about us. It's about us today. All great fantasy adventure stories are really about our choices and how we live and what we do with our planet. So that's why it resonates, because great stories are both timeless and otherworldly, and very specific and contemporary.
And I think the care of Jim Henson, Brian Froud, David Odell, and Frank Oz's collective vision is baked into that. And then the talents of Wendy Froud, all the puppeteers. It's a physical world that you want to go and live in, and you almost feel like you can step into it.
And we really hope it's a world that everyone can step into, because we're going to be in like 30 languages and 1 million countries all at once on day one. It really is for everyone, and because it's puppets and so the language gets dubbed, everyone will feel like it was made for them. It won't feel like a hand-me-down.
Well, I've done a lot of action films. I've done a lot of visual effects, digital visual effects, some practical. It's funny, The Dark Crystal was always the movie I was showing to my crews to say, this is what we need to do. This is, if we can get as much of the real stuff as possible, we will have something special. So on Hulk, on Clash of the Titans, on all the movies I've done with visual effects, I was showing them The Dark Crystal because I thought the creatures, the world, everything worked together. It helped me because I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted not CG, I wanted real puppets, but I knew how to enhance it. I knew how to help it with CG, not too much, just a little bit, just to make it, bridge the action, help puppets to work within this world in a way that had never been seen before.
Well, my father didn't repeat himself very much, so I think if somebody asked him to reboot or sequel or prequel, that would always be a hard choice for him because he always wanted to do something new, but he loved it when people took something over and went with it. He was so excited when Frank Oz was able to direct Muppets Take Manhattan and Jim could go and do something else. So I think he would be thrilled that there's like a new team of people that love the Dark Crystal, that wanted to work with Brian Froud, that wanted to do puppetry at this level of artistry. And I feel like he would be happy.
This show is guileless, and it is very much earnest and wearing its heart on its sleeve. Jim Henson apparently used to say that he created Fraggle Rock because he wanted to bring about world peace, right? And this is a show that is it so wears its heart on its sleeve about what it's trying to say. When I first saw it, every time that I saw an episode come in or whatever, you literally had this feeling of this is something good and this is something that's going to put something positive out in the world. I probably cried when watching the first cut of every episode. For that exact reason, it's something that is wholesome and good.